Ronda Rousey went from being the most dominant woman in combat sports to hitting a breaking point no one saw coming, and the speed of that collapse stunned the world. One moment she was the face of a revolution, the embodiment of inevitability inside the cage, and the next she was sitting alone in a medical room questioning whether her life still had meaning. That whiplash did not come out of nowhere. It was the inevitable collision of trauma, obsession, physical damage, and an identity built too narrowly around winning. To understand how everything unraveled so fast, you have to go back to the very beginning, long before the belts, the cameras, and the chance of her name. Rousey was born into crisis. Complications during birth deprived her brain of oxygen, leaving damage that manifested as a severe speech disorder throughout early childhood. For 6 years she lived trapped inside her own thoughts, unable to express herself in a world that depends on words to form connection and belonging. That silence shaped her. While other children learned to navigate emotions through conversation, she learned through physical expression. Action became her language. Movement became her voice. The frustration of not being understood hardened her and quietly trained her to endure discomfort without complaint, a trait that would later be praised as toughness but began as survival. Then came the loss that carved the deepest scar. When Rousey was 8 years old, her father took his own life after years of unrelenting pain from a severe injury. She did not learn about it through care or clarity, but through fragments of adult whispers and unanswered questions. That kind of loss does not resolve itself. It embeds. It teaches a child that pain can end everything, that stability can vanish without warning, and that control is something you must seize or lose entirely. That lesson never left her. It waited. Her mother, a world champion judoka, responded to tragedy not with softness but with structure. Discipline ruled the household. Excellence was expected, not encouraged. When Rousey stepped onto the judo mat, something clicked instantly. The silence of her early years found release in leverage and balance. Her body understood judo in a way that could not be taught. It was not just talent. It was belonging. The mat became the one place where she was fully understood, where effort translated directly into outcome, where pain had purpose. By 17 she was an Olympian. By 21 she was an Olympic medalist. But bronze felt like failure to someone who had been taught that second place was just the first version of losing. That dissatisfaction became fuel. When judo did not give her the validation she craved, she turned toward a new arena that promised something even greater. Mixed martial arts did not just offer competition. It offered dominance. Rousey did not simply win fights. She erased opponents. Her arm bar became a symbol of inevitability. Fights ended before they could begin. The sport struggled to keep up with her speed and violence. When she entered the UFC, she did more than break barriers. She forced an entire organization to rewrite its philosophy about women in combat sports. She became the champion, then the star, then the face. Media crowned her invincible. Fans believed it. Sponsors built campaigns around it. And she internalized it. That invincibility came at a cost. Behind the scenes, she was accumulating concussions at an alarming rate. Training did not slow down. Injuries were ignored. Rest was treated as weakness. Her environment rewarded silence and endurance, not honesty or recovery. Each impact made the next one easier to suffer and harder to recover from. Her body kept performing while her brain quietly deteriorated. The machine still looked perfect, but critical systems were failing. When she faced Holly Holm in Melbourne, the world expected another coronation. Instead, it witnessed a collapse that would be replayed endlessly. What the audience did not see was that the fight was effectively over minutes after it began. A concussion early in the bout robbed her of clarity. Strategy vanished. Instinct took over. The fighter the world saw that night was not the fighter she had been. When the head kick landed and she fell unconscious, the image shattered more than her undefeated record. It shattered her sense of self. The aftermath was worse than the knockout. Alone in the medical room, stripped of the identity that had defined her since childhood, she spiraled into a moment of terrifying clarity. Without fighting, she did not know who she was. The same unresolved trauma from her father's death surged back to the surface. This time it nearly claimed her too. What saved her was not a title or a comeback plan, but human connection. Someone who loved her for reasons unrelated to winning pulled her back from the edge. Her return against Amanda Nunes was brief and brutal, confirming what her body had already been trying to tell her. The damage was too great. Her MMA career was over. The woman who once seemed unstoppable was suddenly forced to confront life without the only thing she had ever relied on. Professional wrestling offered a bridge, a way to perform without the same level of risk. She succeeded there too, winning championships and headlining the biggest stage in the industry. But even that world carried physical consequences, and the same neurological warnings resurfaced. Eventually, that chapter ended as well, not in triumph but in exhaustion. What followed was the hardest fight of her life, building an identity not based on dominance or fear. Motherhood reshaped her priorities. Writing forced her to confront the truth she had buried beneath success. Creative work gave her a new way to communicate, one that did not depend on violence. For the first time, she learned to exist without measuring her worth by victory. Ronda Rousey's story is not a simple rise and fall. It is a warning about what happens when identity becomes too narrow, when pain is normalized, and when strength is defined only by endurance. She changed combat sports forever, but the greatest victory of her life was surviving herself long enough to find peace beyond the fight. If this story changed how you see dominance, legacy, or what it truly costs to be the best, let me know your thoughts below. Do you think Ronda Rousey's fall was inevitable, or could it have been prevented with a different culture around athletes and injury? And if you want more deep, documentary-style stories like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.